Beautiful soul family, thank you for being part of this channel. If you would like deeper support for your spiritual journey, I invite you to check out our retreats and the Creation Temple. You can join as a Master Creator, Royal Creator, Divine Creator, or free member. We would also appreciate your sponsorships and any donations you would like to send our way to keep these videos coming to you. Much love. Welcome to episode 66. In this video, we're going to ask Prime Creator about the recent timeline shift and if there is any information that we can bring through about that. What is this timeline shift about? What is significant about it? What's the trajectory? Things of that nature. Dear ones, your feeling, your understanding of time is speeding up. In the linear understanding of being a human, your experience of time is now going much faster. Your thoughts, your emotions, your intentions for manifesting, things are coming to fruition more quickly now. In this timeline, I would invite you, dear ones, to be very aware of how you use your energies, how you use your thoughts, your emotions, your intentions to create your everyday reality. Things that are unresolved within you, what you might call your shadow, are coming to the surface more quickly. We are moving along at a rapid pace. There is still ease and grace in this timeline, dear ones, but you may experience it as more unrelenting, meaning you may sense less wiggle room, so to speak, to work with shadow. It is imperative that everything that is coming to the surface for you be addressed in the now. If it is not, it will expand and cause distortion in your field, distortion in what you would actually like to manifest. I invite you, dear ones, to continue to purify your beings, your bodies, your emotional field. When I speak of emotions, it is not that you must feel pristine joy at all times, but to allow the emotional flow so that your emotional field can continue to work with the energy, continue to flow with the energies. For if you get stuck on one emotion and do not allow it to be felt, expressed, if you suppress one emotion, it blocks and distorts your flow. And so, as always, feel what you need to feel, dear ones. And do not hold back. Do not attempt any sort of suppression. Yes, there is a time and a place. There is a healthy environment in which it is wise to allow the emotional flow. I am simply asking you not to ignore any sort of emotion, but to find healthy ways to allow the flow, to allow the expression. In this timeline, dear ones, there are light beings, not in human form, that are closer to your planet, so to speak, meaning their energies, their influence is working with your energy in a more powerful way. They are not taking over, as some would say. They are not in charge of your ascension, as some would say. But they are invited by human energy to have a deeper influence with your energies, allowing you as humans to be more powerful, to have more support in your power, to have more support in your purification processes, to have more support in your creations. They are not suppressing the dark or suppressing the Cabal or the Illuminati. They are bringing more light, and in this way, more support for the shift you are creating on your planet Earth. I would invite you, dear ones, to work with your physical bodies, as I mentioned, to purify, and also to allow changes, healing within your physical body. As everything is speeding up, it is also possible to heal faster, to heal with more efficiency. You may experience more of what you would call miracles, but truly it is simply your willingness to let go, to receive, to do your inner work. Your powers of transmutation are being activated in a higher sense, in a higher way, meaning they are being amplified for those who wish to work with this energy. Many of you in this past week have felt your hearts opening with even more expansion. This is to amplify your powers of transmutation, to bring in more love, to receive more love for yourself, to fill yourself with love, and to share this love. Indeed, the heart of Gaia is expanding with your hearts. And this is part of the ascension processes of both of you, you as humans, and Gaia. Now, as with all timelines, things are changing quite rapidly. So this new timeline brings in fresh energies that will work with future timelines. However, you may continue to notice changes and quantum leaps as you continue to create new timelines and to jump to new realities. This channel is asking about why some feel the timeline shift and some do not. Those who are not feeling a massive timeline shift have volunteered or opted to stabilize the energies. They are working right now as stabilizers upon your planet. And yes, you can still co-create with them and coexist in harmony with them. It is not that they are lesser than those who have experienced the timeline shift. And in some ways, they have jumped new timelines with you, but their memories are staying in the old timeline to serve as a stabilization force on the planet at this time. At some point, this will shift for them as well. The energies of stabilization they are providing are assisting those whose bodies, whose minds and spirits are not quite ready for quantum timeline leaps. And so I thank you, dear ones.
Is the shifting of the shorelines already accounted for in the timeline change and not having to have the experience of being displaced by the moving water?
This is a similar question to those who wonder what happens to the people in disappearing countries when a timeline changes and there are more or fewer countries than before. What happens to these people? It is not that people disappear. When countries disappear from a timeline, it is a reorientation of sorts. This channel is wondering, don't these people notice that they are in a different country. How does this work? I'm not able to interpret that. We will go back to the question about changing shorelines. One of the things you are seeing is not necessarily directly related to timeline change, but the emerging and re-emerging of some islands in your oceans, some islands that are coming to the surface again. The way this is shifting is allowing your beings to acclimate to the eventual return of Lemuria and other islands that have disappeared from your planet. This is a more gradual change to allow your beings to calibrate to these shifts, to these changes.
So the continental tectonic plates change from the changing timelines in the continents. Is that also changed?
Yes, dear ones. This is also part of the shift. So part of what you are seeing with changing timelines is different sizes of countries growing larger or growing smaller on your globe or on your maps. Part of this is also different shapes representing tectonic plate shifts. This is all part of the same shift involved with the emerging of disappearing islands, or islands that have disappeared, re-emerging.
How is this change in the continents and the land masses affecting Gaia's energy? Is there a particular release that is accompanied with that, or a certain alignment of energy?
There is sometimes a release that occurs with the shift. However, that is not the primary purpose at this time. It is similar to how your physical human bodies are shifting and changing. As your spines realign, as your organs calibrate to higher frequencies, and even change shape or change location within the human body, it is mirroring what is occurring on Gaia's surface with the moving of continents or changing of tectonic plates. As you, as human beings, receive your upgrades and changes within the physical body, yes, there is opportunity for release. However, that is not the primary purpose. It is part of your ascension, part of your upgrades, so to speak.
Was there a main event or catalyst to this particular shift with humans relating to the changing of the continents?
Remembering that the changing of the continents is a physicalized way for you to see that timelines are changing. Yes, it is through your collective efforts, with your creations of light, with your disciplined efforts on your path to free yourselves, to do your inner work, and to make progress in creating heaven on earth, to manifest your visions of the light, to work with raising your frequencies and vibrations. It is through the collective efforts of all of those of you doing this type of work that created this timeline jump. Understanding that timeline shifts are occurring quite rapidly at this time. Still, this, what is felt as a more massive shift from your human perspective, has much to do with the 1111 alignments. the energy that was opened during your 11/11 date, and the momentum that was harnessed by the light workers to create massive shifts. And dear ones, I would invite you to look at what has occurred and to realize and understand your power as you come together. And even if you do not ever meet one another in person, your collective energy, your collective intention, your collective power is what is creating these shifts. With the momentum created in this particular timeline, you will have greater and greater opportunity to make more and more quantum leaps such as this. For you have experienced other quantum leaps like this, and they have occurred sporadically. With this particular timeline shift, there was an initiation, an activation, as if an accelerator button was pushed to allow more momentum to flow, to create more quantum timeline shifts such as this one. And this channel is correct in the sense of, with timeline shifts like this, history can be erased in a sense, meaning that your cellular memory can be healed from trauma of your history. And the more timeline shifts like this that are made, the deeper you can heal until eventually there is no cellular memory of trauma, of war, of abuse, etc. And so I issue this invitation quite strongly, dear ones, to stay focused on your creations of light, to stay focused on what you would like to create upon this planet, because your creations are coming to fruition. Even more so now, the collective creations. For in past timelines, it was quite possible that those who were understanding of how to manifest, that they could manifest while others watched and were not part of the manifestation. Now it is a bit different, where your collective manifestations are working together. And so from your heart space, from your soul space, figure out what it is that you want, dear ones. As a community, as a collective, and work together. Work together to join your hearts to create.
There have been reported a lot of explosions and flashes around the planet, and is this related to this timeline shift, this energy?
This has much to do with your galactic star brothers and sisters making themselves known in your reality. It does have to do with this timeline shift. As I mentioned earlier, that there are many light beings supporting the energies of ascension. And while your star brothers and sisters are mostly in form, they are part of this light being collective that are beginning to make their presence known in more obvious ways. This channel is asking if they are all benevolent. At this time it is about 60-40, dear ones, where 60% of these beings are benevolent. Understand that you are still operating in duality and polarity. And this is how those that are not of good intention are able to enter your reality in some way. You do have some degree of control in your individual experience. Allow me to explain. If you do not wish to interact with those who are not of good intention. You can set this boundary. For many of these beings wish to harvest your light, so to speak. And so it is very important to take a stand with these beings, to let them know what you allow and what you do not, to be very clear, to be very specific. If you wish to have no interaction at all, to set this boundary. For some of you are being bothered at nighttime. Some of you are being approached even during the day. You do not have to share your energies in this way, dear ones, if you do not wish. But it is up to you to set the boundary. No one else can do this for you. It is your decision and yours alone. And while you can have a healer or a facilitator to assist you, to hold the space for you in the setting of this boundary, ultimately the decision must come from your being.
Is there a way to assist discerning the intention or quality of these beings as malevolent or benevolent?
Ask them directly, dear one. If you feel a presence that is not known to you, ask directly. Do you come to me with good intention? What is your intention in coming to me? And then feel your body, feel your heart. Now, if you are an anxious or fearful person, the body does not always interpret accurately. And so it is important that you are very connected with your heart space to give you an accurate discernment. You can ask your body if you do feel fear. You can ask your body, is the fear I'm feeling because this being is not of good intention? Or is the fear that I'm feeling a nervous system reaction that has nothing to do with the intention of this being? And then listen to your body and what it says. This may take some practice, dear ones. It is a very important skill to develop.
How does this new timeline affect the polarity that we experience on this planet?
For those that are ready, it will allow them to transcend polarity with a bit more ease. For those that are choosing to continue to work with polarity, it will be amplified. Again, things that have been within the shadow, that are unresolved, will be amplified. They will come to the surface with more conviction, with more force, you could say.
What is Gaia's intention in this collaboration, in the role that she's playing with the timeline shifts?
It is the same as always, dear ones. To work with humans, to ascend together. This is the essence. We have discussed this before.
Is there anything else you'd like to share?
I wish to extend my gratitude, dear ones, and to remind you that these are the times you have been waiting for. These are the shifts that you have been creating. You, as human beings, are the ones creating these shifts. You, as human beings, have the most power as you are in form, as you are navigating density, as you are the ones working within physicality. This is very important to understand, dear ones. For many will continue to say that your star brothers and sisters of different races are taking over your ascension, or they are in charge of this or that. I wish to remind you, dear ones, that you as human beings are the ones that have the power in creating these shifts, in freeing density from your reality, in transmuting shadow and density. Yes, it is true that those beings are able to assist, but only to the degree that they have taken human form. Only to the degree that humans allow interaction and exchange of energy. Only to the degree that humans receive the knowledge, the technologies being brought to them. Humans are the ones that enact the changes. This is not to put you on an ego power trip, so to speak. This is to remind you and to activate you into your empowerment, and I thank you, dear ones.